Tip number 1. Fahkumram, unlike most of the characters on the Tekken 8 roster, actually has quite a number of weaknesses. So first things first, Fahkumram is a big boy. That makes him a victim of the big boy combos at the wall. He has one of the worst side steps in the game alongside the bears, him being a big boy of course. His lows are pretty bad, with his best low being -13 on block, whilst everything else is -14 and above. He also does not have very good high crash options outside of his full crouch down forward too. Not just that, Fahk does not have very good defensive options, and he does not have good get off me moves. So characters that deal very good point blank range pressure like Steve, Brian, Leroy give Fahkumram problems at close range. Fahkumram wants to be far from the opponent, so his struggles are dealing with point blank range pressure. So when you're playing Fahkumram, guys, play to your strengths and be aware of his weaknesses. This is not a Jin. This is not a Claudio. As a Fahk player, you have weaknesses, so you should be aware of all of this. Fahkumram's lack of high crash options makes him very susceptible to close range pressure in this game. He does not have that Laz down back 4, that EWGF or that Victor down back 4. Something strong to challenge high crash or to challenge jabs in this game. Fahkumram suffers a lot. All of his lows do not have the option to high crash outside of full crouch down forward 2 of course. So because of this, a lot of matchups are difficult for Fahkumram. Matchups like Steve, for example. Fahk can't do much about Steve back 1 except outspace it. Moves like Lee back 4. Brian QCB1. These moves are horrible against Fahkumram. So again, going back to playing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses, this is a glaring weakness for Fahk. You can't be as aggressive as most of the characters on this roster. Let's say like an Anna, for example. Fahk does not have that luxury. Being too aggressive with Fahk is actually a detriment to yourself because you just don't have that offense or those offensive capabilities, and you don't have the defensive capabilities either. So you have to be very, very cautious when going in with Fahk because you do not have that high crash option like that Claudio down back 1+2. You just don't have that. Fahk is a very, very generous character in this game, and you should be aware of that. You can't go crazy with this character. Be very aware of this fact. So as discussed earlier, Fahk does not have a lot of good defensive options. He has a very good power crash, however it's -14 on block. His other power crash is a high. He does not have a good sidestep at all. All he has is a decent backdash. So one thing that stands out defensively for Fahk is his 1+2 parry when you have your install or when you are in hit. Now this parry is decent at best. It can parry weapons, it can parry highs, mids, elbows and knees. Of course, being a parry, it loses to grabs, it loses to lows and hit smash as well as a rage art. Now of course, like any other parry, you just don't want to spam this every opportunity that you have, but because you're Fahk and you don't have that many defensive options, this is a parry you can't afford to not use. At least make aware of this option so your opponents can't just pressure you for free. Make them aware that you have this parry that takes you into a guaranteed mix when you land it. So again, his defensive options suck. Fahk sucks at close range, so you have to use this parry. This is non-negotiable. Like, you have to use this parry if you want to survive playing as this character, because most of the pressure that you have to deal with in this game is unfathomable, bro. It's insane. So again, this is non-negotiable. Add this parry in your repertoire. Don't just spam the guard break stances. Use your parry defensively as well. Fahkumram's Rama stance from his guard break options is perhaps the strongest aspect of his kit overall. This is supposed to give you a guaranteed mix-up against your opponent. Now I say supposed to because there are a lot of characters in this game that actually have options against Fahkumram's Rama stance. For example, Laz has a backswing blow that can beat out a lot of his options. Raven has a backswing blow as well as a one-frame parry that can beat out a lot of his options as well. Characters like Drag has a backswing blow, Yoshimitsu has a spin. So it's your job as a Fahkumram main to know which characters can deal with Rama stance on block. This is very important because if you don't know how to deal with these options, you lose out a lot of potential damage. It takes a lot, like Fahkumram's hit revolves around going into Rama stance almost every single time you get a hit on the opponent. So if you're fighting a character that keeps on spamming backswing blows after Rama stance, that's a huge loss of potential damage. You have to do that research, know how to deal with a lot of these backswing blow options. Remember, you can always just block in Rama stance, bait out stuff and stuff like that. So do your research and learn to deal with these options that most of these characters have against your guard break. So earlier I talked about how Fahkumram is not like most of the characters on the roster in a sense that he actually has glaring weaknesses and strengths. Fahk's strength, without a doubt, is his range. Of course, he is the tallest character in the game, henceforth he has the most range in the game as well. And this is something you have to take advantage with this character because again, his close range pressure is awful. You do not want to be in your opponent's face as Fahk. You always want to be at a distance. So moves like forward 3, which can be done from like range 5, bro, like it's insane. Forward 3 for a low is basically a full screen low. Moves like, back 3+4, forward 4, back forward 4, running 3. He always takes advantage of the range, and you have to do it as a Fahk player, bro. It's your strongest, it's your biggest strength, like without a doubt. So you have to take advantage of this. Try by all means to always space yourself out of the opponent's range. Moves like standing 3 and down forward 4 give you that breathing space to open up the gap between you and the opponent. So use that to your advantage, right? Gain some space, back up, and always try to be at max range where you can take advantage of those long ass limbs. Fahkumram's down forward 3+4 is perhaps one of, if not his best string at point blank range that can help him deal with close range pressure as well as some mind games at close range which he lacks heavily. So on its own, down forward 3+4 is unsafe at -10. However, this move becomes amazing when he goes into hit or when you have your install. So it becomes a hit confirmable string that goes into Rama stance if it lands. All hits are natural and it's hit confirmable, making it amazing to deal with. So it has a first layer of mind games where it's like Fahk can just do down forward 3+4 on its own. Then the opponent thinks, okay, it's -10, I can punish, then boom, you throw out the third hit, go into Rama stance and get that mix up off. Like this helps Fahk a lot at close range, bro. Like you just don't have that tool or those good moves like Steve does or Leroy does to glue yourself on the opponent at close range. As a Fahk player, you always want to be away from your opponent. But down forward 3+4 gives Fahk that, a bit of that glue that he needs to deal with characters close range. You do stuff like down forward 3+4 into down 4, down forward 3+4 if they hesitate, down forward 3+4 again. And remember, this is hit confirmable, so you just don't have to spam it. You can visually see if the first 2 hits actually land on hit, then follow up with the third hit, then go into Rama stance for the mix-up. Amazing, amazing too. It's only -10. If you get punished, it's not that big of a deal, so it's worth using in my opinion. Use this to your fullest advantage. One of the strongest close range pokes, especially after moves like forward 3 as a classic Fahkumram frame trap. Don't sleep on down forward 3+4. Fahkumram's Hell Sweep when he has an install is goddamn amazing. This does 45 damage base and does not leave any gray health as well. Like this Hell Sweep is insanely strong and it has mad range, of course, being Fahkumram. Now I don't see a lot of Fahkumram players actually using this a lot when in hit, when they have an install. A lot of Fahks always seem to prioritize guard breaks and going into Rama stance over this Hell Sweep. Guys, this Hell Sweep is amazing, guys. Do not sleep on the Hell Sweep because taking away gray health from a low Hell Sweep is very, very underrated. One of the reasons why Kazuya's Hell Sweep is not looked at as very strong is because of the amount of gray health that it actually leaves. But Fahk does not leave any gray health at all, so it makes using this Hell Sweep well worth that install. It also has a mix-up with forward 4 cancel into 1, which is -3 on block, which is pretty good. You can step left or right, but of course your Fahk, your SS is not that cracked, but it still gives you that option. So it's a perfect mix-up to use for the hell sweep as well. You can have some really good Oki setups after combos into the hell sweep mix. Fahk players don't just spam guard breaking hit, use this hell sweep as well. Very strong. It also breaks balconies, so use it to advantage to get that massive combo damage, as Fahk of course is one of the highest hitting characters in Tekken 8. Now, one thing a lot of Fahkumram players fail to understand about this character, especially when it comes to poking, is that a lot of Fahkumram's poking revolves around string mix-ups and layers of mix-ups, right? So for example, let's take a look at the options he has from standing 3. So for starters, he has 3-1, which is a mid-high, right? The whole string is 3-1-4 or 3-1 into a low, so the opponent can try and duck the 3-1. So as a mix-up, you have 3-4. Now 3-4 is unsafe at -12, but that's the cost you get for having 3-1 as a mix-up. And he has other layers of mix-ups to his standing 3. So he has standing 3 into 4-4, where he cancels the 4 into another high, which is homing as well. If the opponent tries to duck this, you can cancel the 3 into a 3, which is a mid instead. So again, layers on layers on layers of mix-ups. Now these cancels from 3, like 3-4-4 or 3-4-3, can also be interrupted by opponent's jabs. So as a mix-up to this, you can throw out 3-1 on its own, or 3-1-4 the whole string hits on counter hit, or 3-4. So you have a mix-up to whether they duck, you have a mix-up whether they try to sidestep, you have a mix-up on whether they try to jab, interrupt you as well. So it's a 3-layer mix-up. So Fahk requires a lot of conditioning. Condition your opponent not to duck, not to step, not to mash buttons in between the cancels, and that's when you get going with this character. It takes quite a while, but once you get the ball rolling, his pressure becomes insane. So learn this fact about Fahkumram and put this into practice as well. Know your opponent's habits and conditioning, then just go from there. Fahkumram has one of the best backdashes in the game, probably top 5 alongside Alisa, Dragunov and Zafina as well. His backdash is downright amazing. I've spoken about how he does not have a good sidestep, does not have good defensive options, and he's very strong at range, right? Range 2, range 3, somewhere there, even range 4. So backdashing is very important on Fahkumram. There has never been a better time for you to learn how to Korean backdash, especially on Fahk, because again, this is without a doubt his biggest strength alongside his range. It also helps you deal with your lack of defensive options as well, not being able to step, so you have to use that backdash to your advantage. So boys, if you don't know how to KBD, now is the time to put those Korean backdash practices into action. You have to learn how to move with this character, or you're just downright cooked. So there you have it, boys. Some quick fire tips to help you improve at using Fahkumram in Tekken 8. Now, Fahk is not a very complicated character. He's been overly simplified in Tekken 8 more than his Tekken 7 counterpart. And Fahk also is a very balanced character. Does not keep up against most of the stronger characters in the cast, like the Annas, the Ninas, the Jins. Fahk has to actually put in work. But if you do put in the time and effort with this character, you will be rewarded. So if you find yourself struggling with Fahk, just keep going and eventually it will pay off. Now, if you want to see a complete Fahkumram guide, please do let me know. Get the likes up to let me know that you actually enjoyed this video, and then I will drop that Fahkumram guide. But anyway, boys, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and as usual, name again, may the frame data be ever in your favor. GG.